Hello, I'm the Media Wiz, because one hour form wasn't enough, and we're back at it again with another commentary. So today we're going to be watching the first episode of the Little Shop show from the 90s. This was an animated series meant to cash in on the success of the Little Shop of Horrors musical comedy, and really quick thoughts on the movie. It's a great movie. I love that movie. The songs are great. It's very funny. The special effects, very impressive for the time. Frank Oz, master puppeteer, legend in the Jim Henson puppet sphere, and obviously the voice of Yoda and director of a bunch of classy little quirky comedies. Really good stuff. Really liked that movie. The cast was great. It led to a bunch of great musicals. But this was their attempt at cashing in by making a Saturday morning cartoon of it. And obviously we've talked about plenty of examples of this where, hey, if a movie was popular, it had to have an animated Saturday morning cartoon. And or live action sitcom was the case of the Ferris Bueller sitcom. Now there are a few things to bring up before we actually watch the episode. I did look up the studios behind this, and there's a couple of familiar faces. We got Saban Entertainment, who obviously have done a bunch of stuff we've talked about for Media Wiz. They're responsible for Addams Family Reunion and Casper: A Spirited Beginning, and they were obviously responsible for Power Rangers, and a lot of people say they were responsible for that '94 Sailor Moon pilot, but obviously they were only kind of sort of not really connected to that, because they were sort of partnered with Toon Maker, which was the real company responsible for that pilot, but everyone likes to call that Saban Moon. One of Roger Corman's old companies was involved with this thing, New World Entertainment, because Roger Corman directed the original Little Shop of Horrors from the 60s that the Rick Moranis musical comedy was based off of. And as far as I can tell, this show did not last long at all. It lasted one season, and it only got 13 episodes. So yeah, you can clearly tell this was a lame flash in the pan. The way they designed some of the characters, almost none of them look like they do from the original movie, because I do know the premise of the show is that they aged the characters down so that way they could appeal to more of a kid audience. And instead of calling the plant Audrey 2, instead the plant's name is Junior. And the only other thing that I remember of this show from, I believe, Rowdy's review of it from years ago, was that it has a really terrible rap number for the opening. So enough of the build-up. Let's actually get into it. This is Little Shop, Episode 1, Bad Seed. Oh god. Oh god, the animation. Oh my god, this is bordering on Hammerman quality with the backgrounds. That is awful. It's just brightly colored shapes and stuff. Yeah, let's just appreciate the awful rap number for the opening. I mean, it looks better than frickin' Hammerman, but that's not saying anything, because Hammerman looked awful. This at least has more fluid animation. Word, Little Shop! Here we go.
Spent 13 years trying to become a nerd.
Trying to become a nerd?
I've got everything it takes to be a nerd. Ah!
Why does he have a bunk bed?
Except brains.
Why are the backgrounds so unfinished?
Don't share your wheat germ with all the other kids. They might have other germs. I always sneak in a bologna sandwich. Hand it over, Quillborn.
Okay, so the dentist in this version has a retainer, and he's a generic bully character. God, the backgrounds, this looks worse than the Robot Jones pilot, and that had no color in the backgrounds. That's supposed to be Audrey. Why does she... The way they designed her, she looks like the little girl from Clifford.
If only there was some way to make her notice me.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Seymour, you blockhead. Okay, so in this version, Mr. Mushnick is Audrey's dad. 'Cause why not? That leads to the first question. Why even bother making a show based on a movie if you're going to take this many liberties with the characters? Like, Seymour and Audrey, they were like young adults. Why are they 13-year-old kids in this version? Oh god, I hate how they're trying to do the music cues from the movie. It's one of those things where if you show this to someone who did watch the movie, they're gonna be like, oh, this is supposed to be connected to it? Because, like, the characters look, act, and sound almost nothing like they did in the film. It's like the loosest connections possible. Oh no, he went down the fly of despair.
It looks like a fossilized seed. I better save it for my rock collection. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Ah.
What the hell?
It sprouted. It must have germinated in
Really? They couldn't even make the plot of the first episode him, like, feeding the plant? The plant is just miraculously sprouting. This episode is 20 minutes long and they're already rushing through everything.
My business is a bust. Business, what a joke.
Oh no, they're trying to do songs.
I've got no business. That's why I'm going broke. I'm going broke.
this little thing I've grown might win me Audrey's attention. Hey Audrey, meet Audrey Jr. Yes, a rapper,
Oh my god! Mr. Mushnick, I just realized, is played by Harvey Atkin. And they even tried to make him kind of look like Harvey Atkin, too.
At least now I've got somebody to talk to.
And I'm talking to a plant! And no one notices, but him, I guess, that the plant has a face? I mean, this plant even has eyes. The original plant in the movies didn't have eyes. Feed me, Seymour.
Hello, pizza plate. I'll take a large pizza.
That's another difference. Instead of having it that the plant eats people, because this is a Saturday morning cartoon show, you can't do that, so instead here the plant just eats anything. And then the plant is gonna stop him and scare him away, yeah.
I think I'll give myself a big tip. Must have been mice.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Mice were just able to eat that entire pizza.
Personally, I wouldn't take that off a piece of mulch like him. Of course, I'm bigger than he is.
Junior, you're alive.
What do I look like? I'm made out of plastic?
But you're...
Oh man, he's the fast-talking jive. It's the same thing they did with the Gadget-mobile in the Inspector Gadget movies.
You give me a hand getting home, and maybe a couple of legs, and I'll give you the thing you want most in the world.
Passing grade in science?
No, meathead. A passing glance from Audrey Mushface. Now get some sleep. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bushed.
Ugh, God.
But who are you? Where are you from? How did you...
Would you butt out with the questions? I'm trying to be dormant here.
Yes, please. With a 20-minute runtime, let's not actually go into some of this stuff. Let's just breeze past it. I'd like to imagine that's the same attitude they had when they were making the show. So should we explain how any of this is? Should we at least try to go into these characters? No, just make a show based on that movie about the talking plant everybody liked.
I can't wait to get down to the shop and see... Pain Driller!
That's the kid's name? Pain Driller? For real.
They were having a fire sale in the hosiery department. The most amazing thing happened last night, Audrey. Isn't it positively inflammatory? I think it could forever change the way we look at the world. Gosh, do you really think a fire hose could do all that?
Wah wah. Sucks to be you, Seymour.
So
time you've gone too far, Seymour. I want you out of here by tomorrow morning. When I was his age, we never ate Chazarayan pizza like that.
You ready for
God,
some attention from
the 90s was weird. They always tried doing the, like, self-aware, talking to the camera. I guess some things never go out of fashion. It's like, just because The Mask and shows like that did it, those shows did it well. And it's also one thing to have Seymour talk to the audience because he's the main character. Why did Mr. Mushnick do that too?
Must be a crosswind. Uh-oh.
Oh god. I can also feel like they're gonna make the plant kind of like a knockoff version of the genie from Aladdin or Beetlejuice. Those are other examples of characters that did that kind of thing right. Because everyone was doing it, they have to make the plant do that too. He's the wacky, fast-talking, pop culture reference spitting, you know, goofy sidekick.
Go with the flow, Seymour. I can get home in no time on this thing. I just hope it knows.
God, oh my god, that looked awful.
I can't wait to shake the dust of this.
These backgrounds, this is bordering on Hammerman. Not even Hammerman, this is almost on par with the backgrounds in the Battletoads pilot. They're that cheap looking. Okay, here we go, plant rapping. Dude, that was some of the best looking animation, and it was all like 2 seconds long. I find it interesting they did try to add song numbers, because it's like, well, the movie was a musical, so we have to do it too. But of course, to try and appeal to, you know, to the youth and be cool and hip, you gotta have it that the plant raps. It's weird, the rapping in this show is actually better than the rapping in Hammerman. I don't know what that says about Hammerman, but so in this version, the plant just wants to go back to nature. There's no ulterior motive here. There's no plant wanting to take over the world, or you know, or even just eat Seymour and Audrey. None of that.
Home, sweet. Whoa, my home.
There's no place like home.
Not anymore, there isn't. Just a bunch of stumps where they used to be.
Just a bunch of gray colors that I guess were supposed to be mounds of trash. Oh god, of course this dick shows up. Ugh. Even he's confused by it. How the heck did I get here?
Where's the moped?
Must have
Moped? You mean the bike that kind of sort of looked like a motorcycle? Didn't look like a moped. Mopeds usually have like, you know, like a front that stands up with handlebars on it.
you eat vegetables, Seymour.
I don't want to. My mom makes me.
Parents making you eat vegetables. Am I right? God. Oh God, not another song, please, no. Damn it! Wait, so now he's able to just control plants? I don't think they put a whole lot of thought into this. Okay, so now I guess the plant wants to take over the world. As a way to get back at those filthy humans for ruining the world.
Trying to bring back the good old days when plants were plants. And you were lunch. We're through being the weak link in the food chain. Got that?
It's weird that the background singing plants had faces, but these ones don't.
No, because I'm holding the hose.
Oh, brother.
Pyrotechnic. Where's the fire?
Every time she gives some kind of exclamation, it's always the most random, big-sounding words they can think of.
Maybe we could put out a fire together sometime.
And so she said 2 lines and then just leaves the scene. Okay.
My flowers. They're absolutely gorgeous. I knew it was a jungle out there, but now it's a jungle in here. Seymour, how did you do it?
Do you think I should tell him that it was really Junior?
What do I do?
Junior! Every time they say it, it's the most obnoxious way of saying it. Junior!
Just don't stop.
It's like in Sonichu when every time Sonichu says, "Father!"
Got the spark flying with what's her name, too. I tell you, Seymour, without me, your life would be a real mess.
Does everybody have problems like this when they're 13? The shop is making lots of money.
Okay, now we're just gonna breeze through even more things, because why even bother with a story?
I guess we all have to face a few challenges in life. Hand over that milk money, Quillborn. Hey, where's my moped? Somebody took my wheels.
God, could you make that any more out of sync?
Shiver me timbers. It's that cursed Peter Pan. But look lively.
What?
But I can whip that scoundrel with me hook behind me back.
What?
On Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates.
No. Oh. I guess this is an ad for another show.
Monday morning on Fox.
Alright, well, we're basically done, so... Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, so that was Little Shop. Oh, man. I'm just astounded that this exists. I mean, even if it didn't last that long, I think what makes it fail was clear as day. I mean, the animation was cheap, the designs looked very half-assed, the humor sucked. You know, they were. I am kind of surprised they tried to connect it to the movie in the sense that, oh, it's a musical. Like, there was 2-3 song numbers in this thing, but only the first song really sounded like it was connecting to the movie compared to the other 2 songs, which were just lame rap songs and trying to appeal to the 90s youth and make everything cool and hip. And the plant, even more so than the Audrey 2 in the movie, they tried to make the plant the funny, you know, quip-zinging sidekick. There's no reason for the main characters to be kids other than they just wanted to appeal to kids and have it that the main characters are kids. It's one of those, like I said earlier, it's one of those things where you take such liberties with the source material, why even bother? You know? It's like you're cashing in on Little Shop of Horrors, but then you try to like, oh, now the main characters are younger. And, you know, so that way it appeals to the kids watching this. Oh, Seymour is now 13, and, yeah, the only change that I guess kind of sort of makes sense is Audrey is now officially the daughter of Mr. Mushnick. But even then, that didn't even really, like, have any kind of importance in the plot, at least not in this first episode, and I highly doubt that it would throughout the course of the series. Easily the worst change is the dentist they now made that obnoxious bully kid. It's the most generic name ever. And the most obnoxious, like, you know, hey, Quillborn, I'm the generic bully character. And pointless for them to change Audrey 2's name to Junior. I don't know why they did that. Junior! And the animation in this is surprisingly bad. I mean, I've seen still images, and I remember watching Rowdy's video on this years ago, but I totally forgot about how bad this show looked. This is up there with Hammerman in terms of cheapness. The backgrounds are so awful. It's just a bunch of, you know, shapes and colors without any real detail whatsoever. And, you know, some shows could probably get away with that and make it look stylized, but this is up there with Hammerman and the Battletoads pilot for some of the worst backgrounds. The animation is a little more fluid than Hammerman, but only sort of. This is definitely a cheap cash-in. It definitely has that same problem that the Ferris Bueller sitcom had, where it just feels like the most desperate attempt at cashing in, to the point where it feels like it almost has nothing to do with the source material. And if anything, it just makes me want to watch the original movie instead. I'd rather watch the movie twice, watch it with the theatrical ending and then the director's cut ending. Because Little Shop of Horrors is a genuinely great movie, and this is just a flash in the pan. Oh, the movie was successful, so now let's try and franchise out. Let's make a Saturday morning cartoon out of it and make it cool and hip for kids. And in the end, they just made this suck so bad. But, hey, only lasted one season. 13 episodes. At least it didn't overstay its welcome. As bad as it might be, it suffered a similar fate like a lot of other bad shows we've covered on MediaWiz, so that's something. Well, anyway, tune in next time. I'm going to be doing a comic book review, but until then, I'm the MediaWiz, because one art form wasn't enough.